Season 2, episode 27 of the FC Wonderkid podcast, here with my great friend, OvertimeMitch, founder of the Overtime FC page. How are you feeling, my guy?
Feeling good, man. Arsenal's in a Champions League semifinal. Happy to be here.
You're the perfect guest, Mitch, because yes, let's not forget that in December, Mitch called that Arsenal was gonna win the Champions League. Many people ridiculed him incorrectly. Well, let's see until the end, but you're in the top four. So what are the four teams? So we're going to talk about Champions League predictions big time in this episode. So don't forget to comment down below who you think is going to go through, who are going to be the best players. Just go bold and even suggest topics for future podcasts. And at the end, we can't forget Wonderkids, and we're going to talk about Wonderkids that we believe they're going to be on the move this summer. But starting here with the Champions League, Mitch. Champions League is very, very special this season because Arsenal have never won it. PSG have never won it. Inter haven't won in 15 years, and Barcelona haven't won in 10 years. So, Mitch, how are you feeling as an Arsenal fan for the semifinals of the Champions League, mate?
Oh, man, a bunch of complex feelings. I'm feeling cautiously optimistic because in the quarterfinal, we came up against Real Madrid, and this is their competition, as everybody knows. This is not the same Real Madrid as we've seen in years past. This is definitely a different attitude and atmosphere in the locker room for them. But we handled them. We didn't just squeak by Real Madrid. We beat them 5-1 on aggregate. We had two beautiful goals. Mr. Declan Rice, you are already a club legend in my eyes.
First and second free kick of his career. That was
insane. And in this space of like 12 minutes. Oh, which one?
Confidence.
Which one did you like more? Did you like the one where he went around the wall, or near post to
the second? The second for me was the best of the best one, but the first one to have the confidence to actually do that, it was Declan Rice saying to the world, "I'm also world class." Jude Bellingham, everyone knows that he starts for England. But I'm also a must starter. That look, now the fee that was more than 100 million spent by Arsenal, it was the best thing that could happen to the Prem. Because imagine Rice at City. That would be a cheat code. Even with Rodri out, they'd be fine with Rice. So good for the league, Arsenal, and go backing what you're saying for that confidence, because some people they're hating on Arsenal and what Arteta's building, and any opponent that they get, even though PSG, it's PSG, okay, it's a big name.
That is PSG.
There's just exactly, but there's a stat that Arsenal fans must be confident for this game against PSG. That is, at home with Arteta in the Champions League, Arsenal are unbeaten. You haven't lost one match and only 4 goals suffered in 11 matches. That is absolutely mad, with 29 goals scored, and you still know that you need to sign a striker. So you have 29 goals in the Arteta era at home in the Champions League. It's fantastic. So, Mitch, who's the player that's like, wow, this player I'm fascinated with Arsenal this season, mate?
With Arsenal, that's an interesting one, because you have a bunch of guys that have kind of stepped up into roles that they were not originally asked to play based on injuries. Jakub Kiwior is one of these that at the beginning of this last tie, folks were nervous about him because this is we'll call him a backup center back / utility outside back, coming up against the Vinicius and the Kylian Mbappes and the Jude Bellinghams of the world, but he held his own. He really, really did a stellar job over both legs, and so we as a fan base are thrilled with how Kiwior has performed thus far. But the difference maker in this tie, if anybody, it's going to be Bukayo Saka. It simply has to be. Coming back from injury, healthy, he had a good 30-minute run-in this weekend, and I think all eyes are pointing toward the midweek, pointing toward Tuesday, because we are up for this game, let me tell you.
Completely, mate. And going with what you're saying about Bukayo Saka said before the match with Real Madrid, these are the most important matches in my career. So there's a feeling in this Arsenal locker room, and with the star boy Saka, that he's making history. They're making history. They're making a difference in the heritage of the club. So hail end. Having that effect with Bukayo Saka now, Lewis Miles Skelly, that honestly, Noon Minge is the best left back in the world, but Lewis Miles Skelly is definitely top 5 this season, counting just this season. His first professional season, he's already the lock-in starter at left back for England, which is insane when he was a midfielder. Louis Miles Skelly, 18 years old, playing against Jude, Mbappe, Vini, looking up, confidence, chin up. He seemed like he was at home playing against these types of players at left back for Arsenal too. So Skelly, and then you have Lewis Hall too for England, Harry Yamas, this new kid that's playing for United, Ruben seems to like, and Nico O'Reilly of Man City, that he's doing bits too. So left backs of England in the future, that's insane. But you touched upon Kiwior, understandably, but I wanted to ask you a question since you're an Arsenal fan in here, being a guest here. Saliba and Gabriel, do you think that's the best center back duo in the world when they're healthy?
Despite Saliba's 2 brain farts over these past 2 weeks, have you seen these?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I mean,
Saliba's top 3 center backs in the world. Van Dijk, Saliba, Bastoni for me.
And Bastoni's class as well. Like, we could touch on him later. But Gabriel, I think, to me, has kind of come into his own in this season as well as a leader, as a enforcer, as a goal scorer every now and then off of those corners and soaring for headers. Like, I don't know where we would be without him. We have the best defensive record in the Prem and the best defense as a whole in the Prem because of those two and because of the leadership that they've had over the past 2 years. It's really been a treat to watch, and we do not take it for granted that, like, we are living in an era of unbelievable Arsenal defense as well as a bit of an unorthodox attack without a true number 9. We have a Mikel Merino at playing with his back to goal. But he's done well thus far. I really want to commend him for how he's stepped into that role in everybody's absence. So I like where we're at.
And Partey's even rejuvenated at Arsenal. There's more confidence about Partey. Even though Thomas Partey is the only CDM that I see at a high level. So I think Arsenal need more options in that position. With Odegaard, there's Waneri, Martinelli, another left winger. But that's the thing. We all realize Arteta has been handling Arsenal in the last 5 years, and we can fully see the development of this team. It's the right structure, it's the right way. And now this summer for Arsenal fans is one of the most important summer transfer windows they've ever had. And these results against Real Madrid and now against PSG, honestly, I think any player in the world of football looks at Arsenal project and says, I can't deny it. I can't deny it currently. Only if you're like, okay, you're in the rivals. It makes sense. But in terms of attractive, the Arsenal project with Mikel Arteta for next season, this summer, it should convince every possible player to go to that team. Gyökeres, Nico Williams. Nico Williams, 100% the priority, mate. I love Martinelli, but Nico Williams and Louis Miles Skelly at the left.
I agree.
Woo! My days. But yes, we talked a lot about Arsenal, understandably. But PSG, what are you thinking here, Mitch? Because you got Dembele, you got Désiré Doué. So, what's up?
That's who I'm most nervous about.
He's the
Désiré
golden
Doué.
boy. Golden boy for you this season, Désiré Doué.
Yes, hands down, yes. He is who I'm most nervous about. Obviously, we know how class Ousmane Dembele is, has been doing it for all season. But Désiré Doué, in these last 6 months, has come out as just such an exciting winger to watch. He plays with an air of confidence about him. He reminds me of Neymar and the way that he takes defenders on. I know that's high praise, but in the style...
He's got it. Neymar-esque. He's got it.
Exactly. Like you see it in the way he dribbles and the way he goes about his game. He is somebody who I am kind of nervous about, I won't lie.
Understandably, Mitch. And that's the thing with PSG. The PSG squad is the best collective, I'd say, in the world of football currently. Because the midfield, Vitinha, Jones, top 3 in the world. Fullbacks, Nunmin, Hakimi, best in the world. Attacking options, I think Barca has the best attack. But in terms of depth, who can beat them? Gonçalo Ramos, Dembele, Barcola, Kvisha Kvaratskhelia, Désiré Doué, all options for the front. And then you have underrated players. They're not mentioned as much, like Pacho at center back. He's such a beast. Fabien Ruiz, you're a winner. Like, the amount of experience and depth. And young players like Beraldo, I like a lot that young center back at PSG. It's the matchup, mate. I'm so excited. Look, and for us to do a prediction, which we're going to do in this video, it's incredibly hard, but for PSG fans, it's poetic that you could win the Champions League and Mbappe left last summer. Okay? It's poetic. And Dembele is saying to himself, I'm the best French player in the world of football. And Luis Enrique, you can almost see him backing like, this guy is the best. Like, you can see Luis Enrique's passion for this team and the belief that he has for this PSG team. More than what he had Mbappe, which is a bit mad. But you can feel it, right, Mitch, also?
Yes, absolutely. You can see the cohesion when they play together. You can see that they're all kind of attacking as a unit, as opposed to when they used to have Mbappe, and even back in like the Messi era as well, they had 3 talented players up top. But now they have 3 talented players who are all on the same page and who are all attacking in the same way. And that, as an Arsenal fan, is terrifying.
And the quadruple. PSG, they won the Super Cup.
Yep.
PSG won Ligue 1, unbeaten until now. I hope Strasbourg
Handily.
beat them.
Wow.
Coupe de France, they're in the final against Rennes, and they're still in the Champions League semifinals. The quadruple is on for PSG. If this were to happen, no. Even if it doesn't happen, I think this is the best PSG team I've ever seen in my lifetime. Many legends have passed through PSG. The Ibra Pastore, Thiago Silva era. Recently when Neymar went to the final with Tuchel, that was insane too. But now, this team with Luis Enrique, in my opinion, is the best PSG team I've ever seen in my life. Do you agree, Mitch?
I don't know. I don't have enough PSG knowledge to definitively say that, but they are, to me, like, this would be one of the most successful PSG seasons as a whole product, even if they do not make a Champions League final, which I hope they do not.
And Dembele. And let's just put the card out of Dembele that has more than 40 goal involvements this season. In 2025, no doubt Dembele is one of the best players in the world. But would you say he is the best if France wins the Nations League and he's really important and PSG wins the Champions League? Is there the chance of the Ballon d'Or for you, Mitch?
I think that gives him the greatest chance at the Ballon d'Or. For right now, it's he and Rafinha, in my eyes, that are contending for that. And unfortunately, it's all going to come down to hardware. It's all going to come down to who wins what at the end of the season. This is the business end of that season. And then we also have international in the summer as well. But currently, Dembele and Rafinha are 1A and 1B for me. They are just too talented, too dominant right now.
I understand and I agree. Rafinha, I would even say, I will talk about Barca in just a second. But wanted to ask you, so with Arsenal and PSG, since we touched pads, first game, Arsenal-PSG, what's your prediction?
This first game is at the Emirates, correct? So
yes.
I like Arsenal in a 2-1 win.
I'll go with Arsenal 2-2 against PSG. And second leg, PSG Arsenal in Paris.
Go back to Paris. I see us muddying up that game. PSG plays a rather open game because of all the pace that they have and all the quality they have. We like a shortened half-field game. We like a really methodical build-up. I would love for Arteta to really, really muddy up that game. If we don't concede in the first half, I think if PSG come out, throw a punch, we take it. We go into half with 0 goals conceded. I think we go through this tie.
Got you. Look at the lethal counter that happened in the Santiago Bernabeu, beating
like that.
Real Madrid
So
in the
quick.
Santiago Bernabeu. That was unprecedented. No one was expecting it. Actually, quick stats. Arsenal never lost to Real Madrid in 4 matches. So the kryptonite of Real Madrid might be Arsenal. But let's see. Oy. I think PSG is going to go through in my prediction. I'm sorry, Mitch. But honestly, what I prefer, and I've got a Portuguese podcast here in and I'm a co-host of a Portuguese podcast here in Portugal, the Pre-Bet Show, and I said that I would go bold, literally, I go haircut bold if PSG wins the Champions League. Yeah, it wins it all. So first time in history, Nunes winning it goes crazy, and I made the promise in the Pre-Bet Show that I will go bold, actually, if PSG wins the Champions League. So Vitinha, João Neves, come on, make it happen, because yes, it would be fun, man. And Nunes, come on, the best left back in the world of football, and I'm hyped. But yes, we talked about Barca and Inter. Let's get to it now. Barcelona first, because Copa del Rey, we still do not know the Copa del Rey results, so don't go crazy on us on that. But we know that Barca's playing extremely good football. So, Mitch, how are you feeling with the Blaugrana this season?
This is interesting. So I think all in all, Barcelona can be considered the best team in the world right now. form-wise and on paper.
Mhm.
They play a
Hansi
much
Flick.
different style to Inter, right? And
Mhm.
I think that the clash of that in this semifinal leg is going to be really, really entertaining. Inter play so disciplined, so move the ball around so well, and their defense is just so strong. But like, you just cannot deny the quality that Barcelona has going forward. The Lamine Yamals, the Rafinhas. This is going to be a fun one. I don't know. I don't know how to call this one. I really don't.
Well, it's undeniable what you said about the fluidity
Mm.
of Inter playing. So if anyone loves football, even though AC Milan this season, okay, beats Inter de Milan all 5 matches,
In the
it
Coppa
seems
Italia.
like AC is exactly. It seems like AC Milan is the kryptonite of Inter, but Inter, I think, could be the kryptonite of Barcelona, because okay, I could be reaching, because Dortmund, against Dortmund, Pedri did not start. Okay, so automatically that changes everything. Okay, just want to get that heads up. But this Barca team had real struggles playing against three center backs. And Inter de Milan are the best team in the world playing with three center backs. Di Marco and Bastoni, that left side is a living cheat code. Then you have Lautaro doing the movements that no center back likes. And then you got a Marcus Thuram, Sanyanoglu, Barella everywhere. Barella is top 5 midfielder, no doubts, in
Easily.
football. And with Barca, this match against Barca, Nicolau Barella will get the deserved recognition, because whoever wins the Barca Inter matchup is between Pedri and Barella. Who will dictate the tempo of the match? Because for Inter to play with their fluidity, Barella is mega important in dictating the tempo. But for Barca to play that beautiful Hansi Flick tiki-taka style with the press, Pedri has to dictate where the ball goes, when it goes, and at what moments of the game. So I am so 50-50, mate. But talking more about Inter, 12 matches in the Champions League, 8 clean sheets. 8 clean sheets. That is insane for this team with Bastoni, Acerbi, Pavard. Okay, Pavard cost him 30 million.
Nothing.
Bayern was like, no, let him go, let him go. Inter was like, no. France national team experience, can play at fullback, can play at center back. Give me him. And Matteo Darmian, same thing. Can play center back, can play fullback. They like these types of players. So Simone Inzaghi is a genius, deserves more recognition. Best team in the world. I gotta agree with what you said there. Best team in the world currently is Barcelona. And I believe they're gonna win the Copa del Rey also. And they'll win all 3 titles in national titles. So they've won the Supercopa. I think they're going to win the La Liga Barcelona. And winning the Copa del Rey too is such a bad year for Real Madrid fans. That Mbappe arrives in La Liga. He can have 30, 40 goals. It's fantastic. Fantastic. But 0 trophies. That's what people will remember. So, Mitch, being in the States, how you feel with the Lamine Yamal hype? How is it there? Like, are people talking about Lamine a lot? Like a young one of athletes in sports?
Good question. Very much so. Yeah. I have people in the office, and I work for a company that also does basketball and American football. I have people in the office that will wear a Lamine Yamal kit into the office, and they're not necessarily Barca supporters, but they've heard of this kid, this young kid at Barcelona who's just tearing it up. He's so electric. He's so fun to watch, and he's so talented. And then they ask and I educate them. But I'm very much in the business of the who's next of athletes, and he is a name that is so often thrown around, and I don't even think he's next anymore. He's up now. This is currently his time. So good question. Yeah, very much people are aware of Lamine Yamal, and the hype is very much here stateside.
And this is the FC Wonderkid podcast. I gotta say a bold statement, and going with what you said, for me, right now, Lamine Yamal, for me, is the best right winger in football, okay?
Sure.
Better than Salah, better than Bele, better than Desiree Doué, that at 19 is insane too, and better than Rodrigo Goes, Real Madrid fans, I won't forget, and Saka, okay? Sorry, Mitch. But Lamine Yamal, what he does, he's the player with most dribbles done, okay, efficiently in the world of football currently, and 13 goals, 17 assists. Boy, oh boy, the sky's the limit for him. And there's a chance, Mitch. There is a chance that Lamine Yamal wins La Liga, Copa del Rey, Supercopa, wins the Champions League, and wins the Nations League with Spain, that I sure hope it doesn't happen in Portuguese, but if it happens, and he's monumentally important like he was in the Euros, we might see an 18-year-old having the Ballon d'Or in his hands.
Very real. Yeah.
Insane. The States would blow up in terms of people asking that stuff about him. Do you think it can happen, honestly, Mitch?
Sure, why not? Why not, right? You know, you already said all the positions that Barca is in to complete this triple, maybe quadruple. But it's really incredible, and it's not like he's a young kid that is being carried by a team of veterans around him. He is the catalyst for a lot of those veterans. You see, one thing that I really, really love about his game is that when he cuts in, he plays a very early cross. And it's often, you know, the Robert Lewandowskis of the world who are on the end of that cross, and he knows where to be in the box. That man has made a living being in the box. But it's the balls in that are just so impressive. The weight, the timing, the position of them. It's such a mature pass for a player that age to make. And then on top of all the things that he does with the ball at his feet, the way he takes players on, the difference of attacks that he has when attacking a defender's front foot, he's just a complete package at such a young age. Like, sky's the limit for this kid. It's unbelievable.
And going what you said, he knows when to attack the space.
Yes,
it's like, no, now's not the moment. I'll lose the ball, or I'm going to be in a 3-on-1 situation. I won't go there. I'm going to pass it back. He's got that maturity, like you're saying, to say, don't worry, this is the right choice. Because a lot of players would be like, this guy's 17. That's the wrong choice. No. Calm down. I know what I'm doing. I'm Lamine Yamal. He already has that.
Right. And you compare that to other players his age, other, you know, hyped up and world-class players his age, and they can run around a bit haphazardly sometimes, like a chicken with their head cut off, and just kind of putting out effort into the space or into the game, as opposed to methodically, you know, having an awareness about them as to when and where to expend energy and where to go and where to press and how to press exactly. Like, those are skills that come on later in a player's career, but it seems that they're already mature in Lamine Yamal, and it's so visible when you watch him.
Very true, very true. So yes, the Lamine Yamal praise is done. Do you agree that he's the best right winger in football? Go bold in the comment section about that. And Lewandowski will not be playing the first leg at least. This Inter de Milan team, that's a big blow. But Ferran Torres, he's been scoring big goals. And I want to name another player that will be detrimental for this late part of the season for Barcelona. It's Dani Olmo. Dani Olmo, when he's not injured, he's no doubt one of the best players in his position, and he's back home. He's back where he's happy, from La Masia to now being a Blaugrana at the highest level. Dani Olmo, 10 goals this season, but I believe the next goals he's going to score, they're going to be massively important for Barcelona in terms of winning trophies. So that's one of the players that I really not wanted to mention about key importance. And Rafinha. Gotta talk about Rafinha. Rafinha with 50 goal involvements this season. You said the top two for the Ballon d'Or or Rafinha and Dembele. But are you edging with Rafinha, Mitch?
I am. Currently, yes. Yeah.
It's that leadership quality also, because Hansi Flick said, no, Rafinha, he said to The Zone last week, he said that Hansi Flick called him and convinced him to stay at Barcelona. Hansi Flick was the one that said, no, you stay, Rafinha. You're going to be a much better player. And that's the interesting thing, that I judged Laporta for the sacking of Xavi when that happened, because I was a bit emotional. Xavi, we all love Xavi, correct, Mitch? And Hansi Flick was a bit like out-of-the-box type of option. You know what I mean? People were saying Michel of Girona. People were mentioning Spanish managers a lot. But then Hansi Flick happens, and Laporta made clearly the right choice. Now it's very easy to say, and he deserves the congratulations. Sporting director Deco, Laporta, getting Hansi Flick, like only Gundogan left, and they signed Dani Olmo. People were screaming Nico Williams, and he was like, no need. We got Rafinha, Lewandowski, and Lamine, people. And Pedri is officially the best midfielder in the world this season, at least, because of Hansi Flick figuring out how doesn't this man get any more injuries, okay? That's what I really wanted to say. And Pedri. Did people talk about Pedri in the States, though? But it's Lamine, but Pedri, He doesn't score goals or assists, but the effect of Pedri is the biggest on the pitch.
People that watch the game talk about Pedri. I would not say Pedri has the cultural cachet of a Lamine Yamal, of even a Rafinha right now. But yeah, people that watch the game definitely talk about Pedri, but not nearly as
But
much.
Rafinha is very talked. Rafinha is very talked.
People are aware of him.
Interesting.
Yeah, because of the way he plays. So a lot of how American fans, or I shouldn't say, categorize all American fans, but a lot of casual fans will decide, I like this player based on how they play, or based on highlights for short. And Rafinha, Lamine Yamal are highlight, goal and assist machines. These are kind of interchangeable when we talk about those things. Pedri is the heart, the beating heart of that team. Pedri is the one pulling the strings. He is the tempo, the rhythm, and the buildup of that team. And that you see when you watch 90 minutes of football. You don't necessarily see it in the box score. So for that reason, he's talked about less, but people still know who Pedri is. He's class. He is, if you know the game, you know that Pedri is one of the best midfielders in the world.
Completely. And just a quick stat to go over what we're saying. Barca has the best attack in the world with Rafinha, Leva, and Lamine Yamal, because in 152 goals scored this season in all competitions, which is already mad, 84 goals and 42 assists are in Rafinha, Lamine, and Lewandowski's impact in that. That is more than 50% of the goals of Barcelona. So that's why we say that they are the best attacking trio in football. So yes, interesting. And Serie A, do you think Inter wins it? Because currently 71 points Inter, 71 points Napoli.
Yeah, the Serie A title race has been interesting throughout the whole year, because there were points where we were like, okay, this is Inter's league, and then they drop points, and Napoli and AC Milan are able to climb a little bit. I don't know. I to be honest, I don't watch enough Serie A week in and week out to be able to say this is Inter's league. But they seem to be poised. They are in another competition right now. Don't know if you've heard of it, but I don't know where their focus is. They dropped the Coppa Italia to AC Milan in that tie just yesterday or 2 days ago, I believe, as we're recording this on a Friday.
So.
Yeah.
Love Cossi. So they're already saying he's going to be sacked, and he might be sacked winning 2 trophies. He's won the Supercoppa d'Italia.
Wow.
Yeah, and he arrived mid-season, which is a bit mad, okay? It's like, but Ruben, he arrived mid-season, but we all know that it's not Ruben's fault. But that's another talk that we can have on another day. But what's your prediction here for Barca Inter, Mitch?
I think
Barca... sorry?
I think
you think Barca?
I think Barca go through, yes. Yeah.
So it'd be with the first leg, Barcelona-Inter. At Montjuic, we think Barca wins at home. And then Inter-Barcelona away, a draw? Or Inter gets it through?
I think overall the play styles, I favor Barcelona. I favor a talented attack over a disciplined defense, especially in a big moment like a Champions League. I think Barcelona have the players to make a moment out of nothing. Inter are a phenomenal team, and I want to touch on Nico Barella as well. I'm a huge fan of him, the way he plays. You called him a top 5 midfielder in the world. I would go as far as to say a top 3. I think he is excellent. Just the way he plays, and he could be poised for a different club's move. I can see Prem teams really liking the way he controls the game, and the utility that he provides. I do think Barcelona go through from this tie.
It's going to be very interesting. Let us know in the comment section down below if you agree with Mitch, if you agree with me. There was a bit of different options here in the Champions League predictions, but let us know down below in the comment section your choices. Don't forget to like this video. It's a huge help. And now, going to the last topic of the podcast, Wonderkids on the move this summer. Oi. Who's the player that you want to mention, Mitch, that you're dying to mention? Because, yes, there's a lot of players that we know are going to move, correct?
Yes. So I in my notes, I have Desiree Doué. We've talked enough about him, but I don't think he's on the move, right?
He won't be on the move. He won't be on the move.
But just wanted to touch on him and how exciting he is as a player. Bournemouth center back, Dean Huijsen. Excellent.
He's the first player I wanted to mention.
Right? But unbelievable player. And I think he has a price tag of like 60 million right now.
50 million, really.
50 million. A little bit of that could be an English tax because Bournemouth have not been a particularly impressive or disciplined team this season. But you can see the quality when you watch him play on and off the ball. He's 20 years old, I believe.
Yes.
Perhaps 21.
No, 2020. He was
20 years old, right.
Season.
And he's been linked with Liverpool, Madrid, Chelsea. Everybody's in the sweepstakes for this guy. Where do you think he'll go?
Understandably. I think the most likely would be Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got a feeling, and this is more of a wish. I know that Champions League football is a big, it's decisive for many of these players for where they go.
Mm-hmm.
But Dean Huijsen, please go to Manchester United with Ruben Amorim. They need a ball-playing center back at this level. Lenny Oro, Dean Huijsen, Maguire, Lisandro Martinez, the leaks. Those are 5 center backs for next season. That would be a huge upgrade. Convince Dean Huijsen, please, to go to United. But Real Madrid, if Real Madrid really wants him, Real Madrid will get him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do. But they didn't go for Lenny Oro last summer because it was too expensive. United just spent the cash, like more than 50 million easy. I think it was 60 million for Lenny Oro, but Real Madrid didn't want to spend more than 35 million back last summer. So I'm not very optimistic for Dean Huijsen going to Real Madrid, but I think he'll stay in the Premier League and go to a team that goes to the Champions League, or Liverpool, or Chelsea, or my wish. I got to be hopeful for Manchester United. But there's another player at Bournemouth that I'm more hopeful that will be going to Liverpool, which is Milos Kerkez, the Hungarian left back. Milos Kerkez, this season in the Prem, one of the best left backs in the Premier League. The intensity, the work rates, the going forward, he's so good. People have to be aware of him. Dean Huijsen gets a lot of attention, naturally so. But Liverpool, just get Milos Kerkez to replace Robertson. You got Szoboszlai already there. Hungarian teammates. 2 young players that would change their club and their country together. So I think the pitch is done. Milos Kerkez, I think, makes tremendous sense. And another left back I wanted to mention in the Wonderkids on the move, which I don't want him to move personally, Mitch, is Alvaro Carreras, left back of Benfica. I'm not. This is not a bold statement for me to say that Alvaro Carreras was one of the best fullbacks to play against Lamine Yamal. No doubt. The 2 matches that Alvaro Carreras played against Lamine Yamal in Estádio da Luz in the Champions League, Lamine Yamal didn't have 0 goals, 0 assists, and he was having a tough time to play against them. When Barcelona plays Benfica in the second leg, Carreras was not on the pitch. And then we saw Lamine going crazy. So people, Alvaro Carreras is a must name that you must know. Yes, Spain have Cucurella, Balde, Hector Forte can play at left back, we saw last week for Barcelona. And now they have Alvaro Carreras also. That is a must name that you got to remember from Benfica. He's the best left back in the Portuguese league. So that's the name I really wanted to mention also here in the segment. It makes sense. It makes sense that you said Desiree Doué too. But mate, any other player that you think's gonna go on the move?
Yeah. So being American, as we've referenced earlier, I want to bring up 2 American guys, Jack McGlynn and Diego Luna. So Jack McGlynn, a Philadelphia a Union Academy product, has been in that system and like flirting with the first team ever since he was even like 16, 17. Now he's older and his game has matured a little bit. He's made some U.S. men's national team appearances and he's looked really comfortable in those spaces, and just made a move to Houston earlier this season. But he is somebody who controls the game in the midfield like very few American players that I've seen. I think he has a really high upside. And then Diego Luna as well is somebody that has been so exciting, particularly in his U.S. men's national team performances. The energy that he brings, his ability to break lines, carry the ball throughout, and just like wreak havoc in a midfield when he does not have the ball. And then when he does have the ball, be so in control of the game, see every pass, and just the technical ability. These are 2 guys that I'm particularly excited about as an American fan. And I think they could be poised for bigger moves outside of the U.S.
Ooh, Jack McGlynn. I've heard a lot about him.
Mhm.
And Philadelphia,
Mhm.
that's where Brendan Aronson came from, correct?
Yes.
So, same intensity, that might be the case.
Mhm.
Interesting enough. Since you're mentioning a midfielder, there's also a big midfielder that I want to question you. Where do you think he's going to go? Because I think he's leaving Bayer Leverkusen. I think you might have gotten with the hints of the team. Florian Wirtz, I believe, is going to be leaving Leverkusen this summer. One of the best players, no, the best player in the Bundesliga, in my opinion.
Sure.
Sorry, Harry Kane fans, but Florian Wirtz, the intelligence, what he does with the ball in his feet is insane. And I believe Florian Wirtz is the best replacement possible for Man City fans for De Bruyne. No doubt in my mind. Quite interesting that De Bruyne went from Wolfsburg to City, and we could see Wirtz going from Leverkusen to City, also from the Bundesliga. But the intelligence, the impact that he has off ball, he would be such a guaranteed signing, and City likes to do these moves at that position. David Silva in the past, they go for attacking midfielders that dictate the tempo and are very important in creation. So Florian Wirtz, I could see him going to City. So, what do you think about Wirtz, and do you believe it could happen?
I like you said, I agree. I think it makes so much sense, and City love these types of moves with established players that they know and they're super confident they can slot in and fill a role that they need with De Bruyne leaving. It makes, unfortunately, as a league rival of City, it makes a lot of sense for Florian Wirtz to be wearing baby blue.
But there's another team that is mega mentioned, and we saw Real Madrid. I said that Real Madrid, they wouldn't go for Dean Huijsen for more than 30 to 40 million, but they spend when they know. And Florian Wirtz is known talent.
He's a sure thing.
Exactly, it's a sure thing. So they got Bellingham for more than 100 million, Real Madrid. Is there a chance that Xabi Alonso is appointed the next Real? No. That will happen. Xabi Alonso will become the next manager of Real Madrid. But is there a chance that Florian Wirtz goes with Xabi Alonso and joins this Real Madrid team? Because I think the biggest issue is not Mbappe. It's the fact that Toni Kroos is no more there. Okay, people don't mention Kroos as much as they should, being the biggest differential in the Real Madrid team, because the ball is not going at the right time, at the right moment, to Vini, to Mbappe, to Rodrigo. They have to create on their own a lot of times, with no help from the midfield. Valverde is the biggest help, but a lot of times, Valverde is not a pure passer. He's more of a box-to-box, physical. He likes to be involved in duels. He's not that Kroos that, bing, boom, you know what I mean? Just exactly. So, do you think it could happen, Wirtz to Real Madrid?
I do. I think
Real or City? What do you think is a better choice?
So I think City is more likely to spend the money on him because they have like a like for like leaving in De Bruyne. But as you said, like it could make a lot of sense at Madrid as well. It depends on his price tag as well, though, because Madrid are going to spend if they want him. But in a down season by Real Madrid standards, how much money are you going to have to play around with? We know City can spend whatever they want, but yeah, I don't know. I think he's more likely to go to City, but I can definitely see him at Madrid as well. And one thing I want to touch on, the Toni Kroos of it all, when it's all said and done, he will be considered, one of the best midfielders to ever play the game. But we don't talk about him in that way right now because he's towards the end of his career and he's been such a staple in the Real Madrid side for so long that like it's nothing new to us. Toni Kroos goes in, he clocks into work, he does a beautiful performance, and he leaves, and with his same boots that he's been wearing for 20 years. But Real Madrid need to replace him in one way or another, 100%. And there's truly no replacing Toni Kroos. But you're right, Valverde is a more box-to-box guy. Again, also one of a top 5 midfielders in the world. Fede Valverde is so class. But they do need a passer. They need a playmaker. They need somebody that can put balls in behind for the Vinis and the Mbappes. So I can see him at Madrid. I think he's more likely to go to City.
Makes sense. And it makes sense also because we're talking Wonderkids on the move this summer. Chelsea is the team that just signs every Wonderkid, as it seems. No, but seriously, Chelsea signed Giovanni Kenda and Rodrigo Mora in the Portuguese league. I have no doubt of what I'm saying. They're two of the most talented individuals I've ever seen touched this soil in Portugal at the age of 17 playing football. Both are absolutely insane, Mitch. Kenda has played 50 games to Sporting this season. Only Trincão matches the same amount of output at the age of 17 playing at right wing back. He assisted in the City game where Sporting won 4-1. Guindas had his first assist in the Champions League in that match to Gyökeres. So, but Rodrigo Mora, man. Like I'm telling you, Mitch, Rodrigo Mora is a generational talent in the making here in Portugal. I've said it here, and I'm going to repeat it. I believe he's going to be the best talent ever leaving Olival. That currently, it's Vitinha of PSG. And Rodrigo Mora, the intelligence, the brain he has, the technique, the first touch. Porto fans, they're so lucky to have a player like him. He can't leave, okay? Until the World Cup, most definitely he can't leave in 2026 in the States, which I hope to see you then, Mitch. It'll be really fun. It's going to be insane. But yeah, Rodrigo Mora and Kenda are two players that I believe will be going to the World Cup. But I wanted to mention Kenda because Chelsea have signed him. For 50 million, but he won't be going to Chelsea this summer. He'll be going next summer. But this is a player you must know and be aware that is going to be pretty insane. And Estevão from Palmeiras is going to Chelsea this summer. Kendry Paes, there's a lot of people saying he's going to Strasbourg. And the best young keeper in the world, in my opinion, Mike Penders from Genk, has been signed already 6 months ago. It's insane what Chelsea have done.
These are all signings. These are all signings that we heard about from Chelsea last transfer window, and we saw the price tags attached to them. And then we saw we'll join Chelsea in 12 months, 18 months, and it'll be interesting to see what they do and how they handle that. Because God knows Chelsea has 40 men in their roster right now, so they'll loan out some players and give some young guys some run in, hopefully. But I'm excited to see these guys.
And the last player I want to mention in the Wonderkids on the move, Sverny Pan, also a Norwegian midfielder, the Football Manager people. If you know, you know, that plays at Rosenborg, incredibly gifted, that I think Aston Villa is leading currently. But Ryan Cherky. Ryan Cherky, if you know, you know, the streets won't forget. Ryan Cherky, at such a young age, is an artist on the pitch. And we saw against Man United that Cherky, on one-on-one situations, no one can handle a player like that. More than 25 goal involvements this season, and reportedly has a release clause of around 20 million. It's a bargain. So who'd you believe Cherky would be a good fit, mate?
I can see him.
United.
I can see him in the Prem, and I can see him at United. He's the most United-coded player I've ever seen. I feel like this dude has been young for 4 to 5 years too, just because you see so much about him and the technical quality that he has. I don't know where he's.
And in Overtime FC, joining with what you're saying, the clips and training sessions, it's like he does it effortlessly. It's like so easy for Ryan Cherky to do what he does.
It's instinctual the way he controls a ball and laces one. Like the way he strikes a ball is so sweet, and the control that he has is just so casual when he's just. He's a class player. I can see him in the Prem for sure.
Or Dortmund. I would love to see him at
shout.
Dortmund, mate. If Bino Jitsens leaves, but Dortmund is asking for 100 million for their Jadon Sancho region. I'm sorry, I'm joking. He's Bino Jitsens is an incredibly good winger, and also is very quick, and especially in changing direction, he's incredibly fast, and that's not something you train. That's something you buy. So Bino Jitsens could be an interesting option to leave, and Cherky then replacing him on one of the wings. So yes, there's a lot of players that we could have mentioned. Benjamin Sesko, Liam Delap, but I'm going to leave that job to you guys in the comment section down below. So tell us down below on YouTube who's the wonder kid that is going to leave this summer and who will sign him. We're going to make the job difficult for you guys in the comment, not to make it too easy. But again, thank you so much for listening until now, FC Wonderkid community. Thank you, Mitch, for your insights as an Arsenal fan. And in the Champions League prediction, I think you could get it right, but I'm going to be hopeful that I get it right. But let us know. Do you think Mitch will get it right? Will I get it right? Go bold in the comment section. And again, thank you, Mitch, so much for accepting our invitation here in the FC Wonderkid podcast. Go bold and follow down below the links in the description for Overtime FC, the Instagram of Mitch, X, everything will be in the description, people. And yeah, another episode. We'll be back next week and tell us what topics you'd like to see. Thank you for going bold. Until now, people.